Saying the Unsaid, a conversation between a psychologist and a spiritual director who have been friends for over 30 years about process groups. The anticipated discomfort and the surprise intimacy, the inevitability of replication, and the possibilities of doing something new. We're guaranteed to get some stuff right and some stuff wrong, but we're doing it anyway. Thanks for listening.
Okay, you have something in mind that you want to talk about.
Yes. I am currently in a torrential downpour. It's
Literally,
hard. It's hard to hear myself talk. It is raining so hard here.
that makes me think of when it rains, it pours. And we do have a surge of people interested in joining our groups right now.
Yes, we do.
Hmm.
That particular surge feels really good to me. So we just did 2 episodes on metaphors about group that were participant generated, and I really loved. And I was thinking about one of the metaphors that you and I have used is that group work is like a metal detector. And so the person is walking up and down the beach, listening to their headphones, maybe moving the little device around, piles of innocuous sand, and then you hit something. I assume, I don't actually do this. This isn't my side gig, but it beeps because there's something there.
Mhm.
So when I think about group, I think that it will beep around people's areas of pain or vulnerability or uncertainty for how they belong.
Mhm.
And the where it's beeping, where your heart accelerates or where you feel fatigued or where you zone out, whatever your body does when you're hitting something
Yeah.
is part of the tool. And then we get to dig around the sand intentionally, but sort of gently because you don't want to harm the thing you're trying to find,
Right.
and look at it. So I think of group as primarily a observational tool.
Hmm.
Like we are here to pay attention in a way that we normally don't, and to find what's under the sand,
Hmm.
and not necessarily to change it. I don't think of group as surgery where we have to cut and staple and sew, whatever people do in surgery, but to understand the form
Hmm.
and the way it works and the way it doesn't work, or the way it continues to repeat the same patterns of injury.
Hmm.
So I think that group is the opportunity to understand, pay attention, find out what's under the surface, and then with that greater information to be able to decide the what now. But the what now is sort of down the road.
Hmm.
And the group can be a part of the process of seeing and wondering, what now? I just started individual therapy recently
Yeah.
for the first time in over 5 years. I've had been in therapy for most of the previous 15, I think. And one of the metaphors he used for individual therapy was pouring out a box of puzzle pieces and slowly turning them picture side up, picture side up, picture side up, putting like colors together, putting like edges together. And that as you do that, you can see, oh, I see this is kind of coming together. This makes sense. I can see the
Hmm.
image more clearly. And so the whole process of therapy is coming to see the image more clearly. Oh,
Hmm.
I see you. I know what you look like. I
Hmm.
love it so much
What do you
because
love about it?
I love that the end goal is to be seen or to see oneself,
Hmm.
like make sense of the landscape, not necessarily to correct the landscape, but to be as picture side up as possible
Hmm.
to oneself and to another person. And to do so compassionately, like, oh, yeah, of course, I have this color pattern here That makes sense. It makes sense when you put it together.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm in a stage of my life personally and professionally where I want to lean away from pathologizing things and towards understanding their utility.
Yeah.
And that in the understanding their utility, you might say, oh, I see how this is useful, but it also blocks something else that I might want. And in a very compassionate, understanding way,
Yeah.
to consider little shifts towards getting the things you want out of life, but not in a shame on me, I'm so disordered, in like a, wow, you do that. Wow. It must be important. It must be protective. It must be taking care of you. And then the
Mm-hmm.
question is it really taking care of you?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one of the goals of group is to understand people's relational patterns. And I think most people are designed to want to keep themselves safe from a very primitive level.
Mm-hmm.
So kids who aren't getting their early needs met find ways to stay safe in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a lot of different behaviors that can take, adaptive and maladaptive. And then we keep doing them throughout our lives. So each individual person has their own historical pain points that have greater or lesser degree of impact or greater or lesser intensities of traumas that shape how we relate to others and to groups and to the world. And the group format is a place to see, oh, this is my protective pattern. How does this sit with you in terms of how you've experienced groups?
I was thinking right away when you said we are wired to be safe, I thought the first one that came to mind for me was getting people to like me. That makes me feel safe. And so if I can get people to like me, things will go well. I'll feel better. And when I first started being a member in a group, feedback I got early on was about my smile, kind of like having a permagrin and just like a very pleasant face. So it makes so much sense to me that that was one of my coping strategies. And it's been very scary as a group member to risk not being liked. That feels dangerous to me.
Mhm.
Like, are they going to kick me out of group? Is someone going to ignore me for the rest of the meeting? Like I said something they didn't like, I made them feel something they didn't like, and then they're going to pretend like I'm not there. I mean, that sounds like torture to me in a group setting or in an individual setting for someone to ignore me. So that's at play for a lot of my life, and group does expose it.
Yes. So I think that in the early stages of exposure, we don't want to prematurely correct it because it's serving you. So for you, being likable has served a very real function, and it
Mhm.
has been effective in many ways. There are certain blocks that it creates, but
Yeah.
also it has opened up a lot of doors. You wouldn't keep doing it if it wasn't working in some way.
Yeah.
So I think in the group offering a mirror to you of, we notice this is how you present to the world, you get to
Hmm.
see it and think, oh, thank you for noticing that. Maybe I'm a little embarrassed about that. It
Hmm.
has served me. How has it served me? And what is the fear? Like what is the danger? And is
Hmm.
that dangerous thing as true as I believe it to be?
Hmm.
I'm thinking about kids who hoard food when there's food scarcity.
Yeah.
That's a very evolutionarily sound protective thing to do.
Hmm.
Put snacks under your pillow. That makes
Hmm.
sense. But as people grow up, if their situation related to food changes, they might not need to sneak snacks as much, but they might have a visceral sensation of, I don't want to be hungry. And this is how I have learned to make sure that I won't be hungry. So to risk not storing away snacks is a very real fear. So you might have a very real fear of there isn't evidence to the contrary that if I'm not likable, I can still remain connected.
Yes. what it's making me think of is that I just went away with one of my sisters to an Airbnb, and being with family again, it's fun to notice family dynamics, you know? And so the boys wanted to sleep in the same room, so I brought my mattress over to their room, my queen mattress. Then I took the pull-out sofa mattress, which is like this thin, and brought it onto my box spring in my little room. And then I patched together some blankets. So like no sheet, just the thinnest pillow and two blankets or something. And so that's what I did. And the next morning when my sister came in, she was like, "This is giving me Linda Caruso vibes," which is my mom.
Uh-huh.
And it's so fun to be known and seen like that. No one else would walk in and say, "I've seen this before. I've seen the patched together sofa bed mattress situation." And that felt like a group moment in the sense of just someone noticing. I wouldn't have noticed anything different about it. Like this is as normal to me as the air I breathe, that I
Yes.
would do some kind of patchwork, makeshift sleeping arrangement. So as you're talking, I was like, wow, that was kind of an example of hoarding food in a different way. And yeah, what's behind it is I don't want to assert the nice room. Like my sister, I kind of gave her slash she took, we both contribute to this, the master bedroom with the four-post bed and the bathroom, you know? And so it's more secure for me to be sleeping in this makeshift way and to not risk her being upset, her sleeping badly, her not liking me as much, the boys not getting what they want. So no wonder it looks like a martyr kind of on the outside, which a lot of mom stuff does.
Yes. But you're
But
actually
actually,
taking care of yourself.
yes,
It's a safer route.
less sleep, but safer.
Yes. Sometimes the safer route doesn't mean it's not painful. It's just the preferred pain.
Hmm.
Like
Good
it's
point.
preferable to sleep on a box spring with a little, you know, washcloth on top of it.
Yes.
I slept poorly is a safer pain than what if I said I'd like to have the master bedroom or
Hmm.
whatever. That unknown pain feels less tolerable.
Hmm.
One of my protective, keeping me safe mechanisms is hyper independence. And I can complain about my independence and needing to take care of myself. But that sort of complaint is a safer complaint to me. The world makes sense to me when I am taking care of myself and maybe internally grouchy about it or something like that. I prefer that type of pain than
Hmm.
to request help or hope for help or elicit help. And then what if it doesn't get met? What if I'm not taken care of?
Hmm.
That feels more intolerable than the taking care of everything for myself. And sometimes like it and sometimes resent it, but at least I know this arrangement,
Hmm.
this landscape is familiar to me. So it's not scary to me.
Hmm. What would be so intolerable about asking for help?
Um, I'm thinking of the scene from Aladdin where they go on the magic carpet and he says
Yeah.
like, "Do you trust me?" and puts out his hand.
Yes.
I can't believe I'm doing a Disney princess
Yeah.
scenario. This is
Not you.
terrible. Um, but they're like, "Do you trust me if I'm putting
Hmm.
out my hand?" I am currently becoming more aware of my lack of trust. And so
Hmm.
it's like, no, I'm good. I'll just ride my own magic carpet.
Hmm.
In the scene, if his hand doesn't hold,
Hmm.
she'll fall.
Yeah.
So the risk is falling. The risk is being disappointed, not
Hmm.
getting your needs met.
Hmm.
The collapse,
Yeah.
that feels very painful. So I prefer a different type of pain, which is
Hmm.
not needing anyone, but doing everything myself.
Hmm.
So anyway, that's just one of my things under the sand. There would
Hmm.
be a tenderness around potential dependency.
Hmm.
I don't want that. That feels very scary.
Sarah, I found myself wondering what exchange you would like with Aladdin in that scenario. Like, do you like that somebody theoretically asks, "Do you trust me?" and they stick out their hand? Or what would you prefer him to ask you in order for you to get on the carpet, if that's even the goal?
I think I feel uncertain about it because I I so distrust it.
Hmm.
The idea of I would like a trustworthy person to say, "Do you trust me?" And then I put out my hand and then go up, and I guess we have a beautiful adventure on a magic carpet and
Hmm.
sing that song.
The whole
I
new world?
A Whole New World. I actually hate that song so much. I think we sang it at my sixth grade graduation. So I definitely don't want to sing that song. But if there was a magic carpet ride, that sounds pretty fun. I would like to know that it's secure. But I don't know. That wish actually feels pretty far away. The
Yeah.
fact that it's far away to me is an indicator that this is one of my things under the sand.
Sand. Yeah, it's a few level layers deep.
Mhm. I can't even really access it. The wish to be taken care of. There's too many protective things between.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I'm hearing a few possibilities. One thing I'm hearing is you saying, like, how do I know this is secure?
Mhm.
Either your handhold or the rug I'm about to get on. And who knows what he would say to that. Or the other thing I'm hearing is that he's on his carpet reaching out his hand, and you're like, this is way too far for me. Like, you're
Mhm.
welcome to come in to my little um, outdoor garden and I'll talk to you, but there's no way in hell I'm getting on that rug of yours.
Uh-huh.
That's how I'm picturing what you're saying, is that you'd prefer.
Is I'd rather we can have a land conversation
Yeah.
before we get onto a magic carpet ride.
Yeah, I'm just hearing that you would prefer a lot of back and forth instead
I
of
would.
just,
I would. Also, I would want to be like, what if I want off the rug? How am I going to get off? Because if we're just floating around, I don't
yeah.
fly. So I'm going to need us to land on a building. And is that an option? How quickly can I say, I'm ready for my ride to be over? Okay, so that's a major thing. I'm definitely not getting on some weird ride invited by some Disney prince in disguise. No, thank you. So I would want to know that.
Hmm.
And maybe that part of wanting to know a lot of information, wanting to get the lay of the land, wanting to know where the exit signs are, the exit doors, is a part of my protective
Hmm.
patterns. It
Hmm.
is.
Right.
So that would be something to observe about me.
Hmm.
I want to know where the door is off the magic carpet at all times. I do.
Yes.
And if you do my puzzle, that might make sense.
Hmm.
So then the question would be, is constantly perusing the lay of the building and all the exit strategies, is that helping you get what you want?
Hmm.
Helping you feel safe? Is it also helping you feel close? Is it also getting you the adventures you want? If you're that suspicious of carpets, and that could be a conversation down the road.
Yeah. I love the idea of someone redoing scenes from Disney movies with a different perspective. Like if Jasmine had her clipboard and was asking all the questions, it feels
Yeah,
like the wheel of consent kind of
sure.
animated.
Well,
That's
in my
powerful.
animation, I'm obviously writing my own goddamn carpet. A
Or
thousand
that.
percent. No one is leaning over and being like, "You trust me?" I have written that out of my Disney script.
Yes.
100%. So that is one effective route to rewrite the Disney narrative.
Yeah.
What I, in my life right now, am wondering about is, are there some things that I'm missing?
Hmm.
It is not a Disney prince offering me a ride. I'm not trying to go back to the original script, but I think that there could be some forms of invitation onto some forms of adventure
Hmm.
that I might miss
Mm.
because I'm always riding my own carpet.
Nice.
Yeah. But there's nothing pathological about my carpet riding. It makes sense. I
Yeah.
had a carpet ride injury back in the day. So I I like to make sure it's safe.
Hmm.
It's a reasonable thing to do.
Yes, it
When I
is.
think about our group participants and what seems evident to us as observers or witnesses, that there are certain styles, certain interpersonal things that are probably not getting them what they want.
Yeah.
I like the idea of assuming that it is serving something useful.
Hmm.
People don't do things because it's just random and ineffective.
Yeah.
They do things because it's protecting something, it's keeping something safe,
Yeah.
likely a response to something historical, either incidental or chronic. And people are trying to remain intact while connecting to other people.
I like the word protective for what we're talking about. That helps me understand. Like if I think of group members, like protective in a really positive way, like a helpful way. How have they learned how to protect themselves? That helps me identify some of the pattern for them
Mhm.
and to have compassion on that, whatever form it takes.
Yes. And to invite it in, like keep showing up, keep showing up, keep showing up, because we want to see you and know you in your precise protective style.
Hmm.
There's some people that are very suspicious of the group as a whole, like the concept of a group. I
Yeah.
personally am afraid of groups, so I empathize with that. And so there's a suspiciousness of the leaders, suspicion of the agenda, suspicion of who's benefiting. And I think that makes a lot of sense. And we want to keep inviting that to be spoken.
Yeah.
Some people are afraid of getting close to people for fear that they might zap them of all their energy and resources, particularly people who seem emotionally needy. We've experienced that. And so a recoiling from a needy other is a way to keep oneself intact.
Hmm.
It makes sense. So we want to say, like, keep coming, keep coming, keep recoiling, keep recoiling. Let's observe the exact mechanisms of the recoil.
Hmm.
And then maybe do little baby steps of trying out something different and seeing if the result is what you expect.
Yeah.
If you lean into this rather than just pull away, are you going to get all your resources zapped? Will there be a confirmation,
Hmm.
your fear, or is something else possible? That's where I think the miracles of group happen
Yeah.
when there is an assumed, if A, then B, then C. I've been doing it my whole life. I've seen this 1,000 times. It's happening again. It's happening again. But if you can put words to it, name it, observe, 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 tenderly, and assuming that it's trying to keep you safe, and then wondering, is it keeping you safe? Is it getting you what you want?
Hmm. Sarah, this was such a good thing on your mind.
I feel so excited about it. It feels like a holy task, honestly. The groups, and for people to be willing to come with their particular type of armor of this is how I learned to make it through. I either always was benign and on the side, or I always was agreeable, or I always was aggressive, or I always took charge, or I always took care of all my own needs, or I always make sure I take care of everyone else's needs. Whatever
Yeah.
people's exact contours of their protective armor, it's like,
Yeah.
come on in, come on in. Let's sit around and observe the type of protective armor and be like, oh, what a cool shield. My son just went to this camp about like Greek gods and goddesses and demigods. I don't really know any of these words.
Mhm.
So he had a cardboard breastplate with duct tape and a cardboard shield with duct tape and a cardboard sword with a foam sword with duct tape. And I'm just thinking that all we are children with cardboard armor and duct tape trying to make it through this planet somewhat intact. And can we notice the armor? What is it doing? How is it keeping us safe?
Mhm.
Are there any other possibilities here? And if that is what we're doing in group,
Sign me up, Sarah.
sign me up.
Thank you so much for listening. If there's something you'd like us to talk about, or you're interested in trying one of our groups, please email us at sayingtheunsaidgroup@gmail.com.